Alright, come at me, dramatic hallway. I can take on anything. Ish. Into the abyss! Woo! There's no bird to save you now. Welcome to the drowning pool. Which power could you possibly get in the giant pool of water? Keep guessing, you'll never figure it out. Ah! Ha! No! No! This is a fear. Alright, well, time to be swallowed. The way that humanity is completely incapable of dealing with water in meaningful ways. Oh wait, I'm a fool. I already have swimming. I forgot that I got swimming last session. Listen, sometimes you say something really stupid and you can't take it back unless you write a note down specifically to go back and edit it out later. Ah, another human. Oh, you mean like you've seen a human before, not that you are a human? I was like, I have news for you, buddy.
Okay. I just have to avoid eye contact and back away slowly.
Aren't you looking... You look like you're looking like in every direction at the same time. I don't know if avoiding eye contact is going to really work for you. If you can do that. Friend. Friendo.
Yeah.
How do I do the thing? Okay.
Quit following me, pest. If you don't move along, I'll be forced to tell Her Excellence, the Water Dragon, about your little incursion. Aha, I didn't see that coming, did you? The part where an octopus can fit through small spaces, one of their most well-known traits. You would have never predicted it. Yep, there's no way you're going to be able to follow me now. So what are you? You gonna cry? I won't be able to tell because you're underwater. If you do think you can make it through, just go ahead and try. Use your spin dash, Sonic. Yeah, how is that even possible? I've never seen a human pull off a spin like that. Wait. That's a water dragon scale. Does that make you the emissary of the goddess like the water dragon said? Hey, I've got an idea. Maybe you can help Her Excellence.
What's wrong? I'm talking underwater? I can do that too? I can't, wait, I have a breath meter. I can't talk underwater. I can't even breathe underwater.
Yeah, about that. It happened really recently. This weirdo came in here with a gang of monsters and went right after Her Excellence. Maybe my lady, the water dragon, is a fierce fighter, and boy, did she gobble up most of those monsters in the first few seconds. Thing is, there were just too many of them. While she was distracted, the weirdo leading all those creatures managed to wound her. She's healing up now, but she says we don't have enough special water for her to make a full recovery. Could you please go talk with Her Excellence and see if you can help her out? I'll even take you to her. Follow me.
Nope, hold it. Nope, get out of the thing. Okay, oh, it's left stick. The left, you shake the left hand to do the wibbly wobbly. Not the right hand. It's like rolling. It's like poetry, it rhymes. Nope, I was just using my hand. That's weird. Oh, I'm gonna get the iron boots here. I was expecting to meet up with my friend here. The path is blocked with a huge boulder. Lovely. Now what do we do? Am I gonna get iron boots? I don't know. I just noticed that this thing's here, and can I use this while I'm swimming, or do I have to, like, stand in front of it? No, I can just use it while I'm swimming. That's a little terrifying. Congratulations, your save is now underwater. Hope you don't load while you're AFK and prepping for a session, because you're gonna drown. Okay, so I can't use items. There we go. Sup? Now, there we go. That was an ouchie, but I figured, yeah, those guys explode, so I'm gonna knock them into the boulders because they're like bombs. And my spin dash thing lets me knock them away from me. Even if it does irreparable damage to my bod. Actually, it doesn't do any damage to me. I saw that I had a half a heart down, and I thought that was what the ow the first one did to me. But actually, we're fine. Oh shit. I've healed my hearts, but not my lungs. Being a human's hard. A lot of effort wasted on making your organs stay functioning. Just talk to him. God damn it. There we go. Don't eat me, Your Excellence. Me, the water dragon? No. Are you looking for Her Excellence? To eat her? You possess one of her scales, so you must be a friend of our kind. I will tell you where you can find her. The water dragon lives just a little ways up from here. You want to make a note of that. Now's probably a good time to do it. Just right on your map, underwater. It's a secret to everybody. You've already said that before in this game. You can't just keep fucking going back to that well. What are you, me? There we go. Yes, riches. I'll put those in my lungs now. Is this healthcare? No, I have to go all the way back around now. You have to try to line up your shot and hope that the fish stays in the right position, then hope it lands. Oop. Oh, I got hurt that time, I think. Yeah. Ah, fuck. At the time he exploded. God damn it. Alright. Cool. We'll just keep looping. Forever. Forever. Close enough. Don't worry about the ghost skull that rendered when you killed that guy. I mean, he's napping in pieces everywhere. Oh, now that's using your noodle? Her Excellence is just up ahead, over this way. Feed my lungs. There we go. It requires nutrients. Air nutrients. From the air. Whoa! Dolphin dive. Say, Mr. Human Person, do you know how to spin jump? Yep, just did it right over your head. You spin up, if you do the thing you already did. Yep, and that is mandatory to continue. Zoop. Zoop. Pew. Come on, hurry up. Alright. Sheesh, you can't get through? You humans and your bones. Talk about inconvenient. I guess you can leap over the top of the wall if you want to. Yes, that's what I tried to do. There we go. Wow, perfect jump. I'd call you amazing, but I think we both know it was the water dragon scale that made that little stunt possible. Wow, it's cool. Let's not give me I don't need credit for things anyway. I'm just here for the good of everyone else, and I don't want any glory or recognition. Nope, there's a ledge up there. Good enough. Okay. Additional save. That's a To the Sky stone. Yeah, it's like the orange ones are sky ones and the blue ones are not. Except the one was underwater. Sorry, trying to fix my glasses, which means I have to completely stop moving. Because my hands are the game. I see chest. Aha! You pay. You pay. You're not invited. Get off my bod. It's useful for something, but nothing yet. So it continues to be an abstract reward that you don't fully understand. I think I still can't actually use it for anything. I was like, oh, this will come in handy someday. It's interesting because that makes it feel like it's a late game reward, but I've been getting it since the beginning of the game. It's just that there's eventually going to be a later point in the game where it's like a roll call for like, how many of these have you gotten so far? I'm not waiting for you to come down here. Damn it. I wanted to be all proactive. But I can't aim that attack. I need to be in lock-on range. And when I got in lock-on range, he came down and attacked me. Muns. Ah, I'm a fool.
One more for the pile.
Something I wasn't anticipating as far as Wii games go is that while most of the motion controls are kind of unnecessary because you could just do them you could pretty much do them the same way with joysticks and it wouldn't really be even any harder, or sometimes in some cases it'd be even easier. It is nice, and something I didn't know that was even a thing really, that the Wii MotionPlus apparently leads to a situation where the sensor bar just isn't relevant to a lot of the gameplay. Like apparently the Wii MotionPlus makes them, they just take the gyroscope motions from that and they don't even use the sensor bar at all for most of the game. Which makes me wish, because I assume it didn't have those controls as far as I can tell, it makes me wish the Metroid Prime could be entirely MotionPlus instead of gyroscope instead of sensor, like as an option or something. Because we're running into sensor issues and wandering in and out of like its acceptable range as I'm trying to figure out how to like aim around and so on. It was just like there's just too many distracting problems that were coming up from it. I don't know why I'm waiting for blue. I'm like instinctively waiting for bubbles to come to me, even though I'm not underwater. I'm a fool.
The place was just perfectly peaceful for the longest time. Then weirdo people like you started showing up. On top of that, scary fish have been terrorizing our water. All this commotion has made it impossible for me to get any shut-eye.
To some extent, I think that the Wii version of Metroid Prime might be stuck in an in-between space on technology. Where they're like, haha, finally we can do this cool thing with our game. In the form of, like being able to point your hand around, like you really are Samus Aran with your gun arm. But the real sweet spot would have been VR, where suddenly you actually do get to have one-to-one motions like that, and you have free movement and you can turn around in every direction without having to face a specific direction the entire time. Because the specific brand of it that's offered by the Wii sensor bar is like a weird form of like, it's like playing an RTS where you have to like drag your cursor to the edges of the screen to like make the screen scroll around, but like you're also using that mouse to like control your units and click. So you're constantly going, your hand is doing two things that are contradictory to each other somewhat, which is one is selecting targets and one is moving the way you look around, and not in an all at once intuitive, clean way. Like you're specifically just like wobbling your cursor around to drag your screen around because you just need to face the correct direction before you can properly aim at people. Whereas with VR, you'd actually have the full, you'd have separated head and hand movement, and you would be intuitively aiming with your hand, so you'd be like, oh yeah, here we go. Suddenly it all makes sense. Yikes. Oh, they're back. That's one of the fish that Weirdo brought in here and used to attack Her Excellence. Watch out, they're mean as they come. I can probably just head bash him, right? It's got like an X on his forehead. That seems suggestive. Yaha! Take that, dummy, stupid. Oh yeah, that just gets him. One hit and he's dead. Wow, that goddess sure knows how to pick him. You did great. You defeated that enemy with the only mechanic available to you. Listen, I could pretty confidently attack that guy because all mechanical complexity is out the window right now. I have one way of interacting with the game besides moving, which is to spin. So every solution is spin. You platform by spin, you attack by spin, you break through barriers by spin, because that's the only button. It's why sections like this can be novel, but they have to be kind of short-lived and move on with their lives pretty quickly, because you just don't have that much to do. At last, we're here. Her Excellence, the Water Dragon, is just up ahead. Hang on just a second. Please come in. The not much to do actually does speak to one of the mechanical weaknesses of the Zelda games, the 3D ones specifically, is that we talked about this a bit before, but each 3D Zelda has a special gimmick, and that special gimmick usually involves you entering a special state where you can't do any of the normal stuff. Which is a problem, because a core appeal of the gameplay is that you get this ever-increasing toolkit, this like utility belt of little tools you use to solve problems. First you get like you start off with like an Ocarina of Time with nothing. Whoops. You start off with absolutely nothing, then you get your like your sword and your shield. Then you get bombs and you're like, oh my god, I can fight people and defend against attacks, and I can blow up rocks. Wow. And then like it keeps going until suddenly like I can see invisible things and I can walk on air with hover boots, and all these other crazy things happen. You get your hook shot. It keeps expanding. You get an ever increasing number of songs that all have weird niche uses to also solve problems. And so the appeal of that is that you go into situations and you're like, oh, here's my big toolkit. Which thing solves the problem? And that can run into issues sometimes with like I've taken issues with some of the boss fights in some of the games being complete. Like I'm just like, if you don't immediately get what to do, you just start trying every single thing on every single enemy, and you're like, what does it? One of the worst examples I've ever seen being in Link's Awakening, the remake that I played. There was an enemy that could at the time only be damaged by spin attacks, and I'm like, why would he be invulnerable to sword attacks but vulnerable to spin attacks, but not vulnerable to bombs or any other weapon I have? Why spin attacks specifically? What the fuck? Why? So like that can run into its own issues sometimes, but it's pretty clearly the appeal of these games in like their progression systems that you get this increasingly layered on mechanical complexity that keeps building upon itself, and so you always feel like you have more tricks and more things, and so the problems that they're posing you with intuitively keep escalating, and like sometimes you keep revisiting the old ones, like, oh yeah, let's blow up a cracked wall, but then like it can be layered. Like sometimes you gotta reveal the invisible cracked wall in order to blow it up, or sometimes you gotta thaw the frozen cracked wall in order to blow it up, and like they start layering ideas on. The problem is that the King of Red Lions, the King of Red Lions, which is the boat from Wind Waker, the wolf form from Twilight Princess, and in here the bird form, the bird you ride, is all three of those are basically just standalone mini games that never really raise in complexity, and you never really add mechanics to them. And so you know that every time you get it back into the state of doing those parts, you're just going to do the one thing. And it pretty much stays the same from the first time you use it to the last time you use it throughout the playthrough. So while whenever you're running around as Link, you have this ever-increasing number of things, and you feel like you're in your full self, and you're playing like you're playing Zelda. The moment you get into one of those special states that is like that 3D Zelda's gimmick state that sets it apart from the other ones, it's almost they really consistently make it so that that special thing is completely divorced mechanically from the rest of the game, and that's it's like, I think that's I personally see that as a mistake, and they keep falling into it over and over again, and it's a bummer. And like my favorite one so far is Wolf Link, probably because one, it's a wolf, and two, you at least get to run around as a character and fight normally-ish, so he controls pretty normally, and there's at least like a structural meaning behind it, because while the King of Red Lions and your Skyloft are just Wingloft, Bird are just transportation vehicles to get around, the Wolf Link things actually have levels, and you're there to go accomplish things and so on, and it has the most mechanics out of them. But even that one was still pretty shallow, because it was just lock on to your platforming things to bounce between them, mash the A button to attack things, hold down the A button to AoE attack things. They tried to make puzzles out of those little combat encounters where you had to kill the last two enemies at the same time or they'd all respawn, but it didn't add that much to the game. And then even when it did, once you saw the first iteration of it, you largely saw all of them for the rest of the game, because it just wasn't really going anywhere. It's why I think common consensus is that the Wolf Link, I keep gesturing with my left hand and it makes me charge. I think that's why there's common consensus that the Wolf Link dungeon they added in the Twilight Princess HD remake, which I did not get to play because I didn't have the amiibo, which was frustrating, but okay. A common consensus often seems to be that that isn't really worth playing anyway, and it's probably because, yeah, it's while the dungeon you play as Link is this big survival gauntlet where you have to survive as Link with all the tools you have, and every hit counts and everything, a Wolf Link just isn't that mechanically complex, so having a dungeon that's just as long be only those mechanics really highlights how not developed those mechanics are by comparison. Whereas they keep iterating on Link's core moveset in really cool ways, and I feel like one of the highlights of that is the fact that, like, while people criticize Breath of the Wild for its durability system and the kind of the food system, making it so that you can just keep healing and whatnot, when they added that first DLC that was a big survival gauntlet akin to the one from Twilight Princess, suddenly you had to be really careful about your weapon resources and how much food you've been able to successfully gather and what recipes you can make from that food. And suddenly there was like a really like mechanically dense, challenging survival gauntlet that you'd potentially replay over and over again, because it's like one of the highlights of like what Zelda can be when you have all these different tools and you're asked to solve problems, sometimes via lock and key one-to-one clear solutions where it's like, obviously this is the thing that does that thing, but other times because you're actually creating your own solutions and you're flexing your own creativity. And unfortunately, the boat and the bird and Wolf Link don't really have any creativity to mine from the player, and that's kind of their weakness as a whole. I'm curious to see the 2D wall stuff from the I think it's the A Link to the Past sequel that's on 3DS or something, because like the wall paint stuff looks like it's actually a gimmick that's implemented into the core gameplay, and to some extent, from what I've seen, that might be more common, is that the the 2D Zeldas might do a much better job at implementing their gimmick into the core gameplay than the 3D Zeldas do. I think that's kind of a weird split that they've got, which is interesting. Anyway. I had to pause because I think these people might be talkative, or I'm about to walk into a cutscene, and I gotta finish that thought. I was thinking about that because of the fact that swimming is a similar example. It's not any game's core gimmick necessarily, and please don't ever make it that, because swimming wears out its welcome pretty quickly usually. But generally speaking, once you enter a swimming state in a lot of games, you're asked to immediately drop all of the mechanics of the game and just swim around. That one over there? He's dying to get in good with the water dragon. My advice? Keep your distance. Nothing good will come of hanging around with a fin-kissing peripheral. That one over there. Who? Where? You're alone, sir. Ma'am. Thing. Them. They. I left my home. I left my home here. I just wish it was a little easier to get in and out of the place. Don't you? I mean, you guys just fit through most places, right? Or do you mean like the commute? Like distance-wise, as opposed to fitting through spaces? Those guys didn't seem to be possible to talk to. Get up here. Wow, that's terrifying. Ah, you there, human. You have intruded into my home, a sacred place few are permitted to enter. This is no place for one such as you, and yet here you stand. You will explain how you got here, and quickly. Water dragon? I am. Those with manners address me as Farron, warden of the woods. I was appointed by the goddess herself. Though my current stature is less than, well, intimidating, shall we say? Now that you stand in the presence of a loyal servant of the goddess. Oh, know that you do. Whoops. I say, that's one of my scales you have there. A sacred gift such as that could only be carried by the goddess's chosen hero. But could you really be him? This raises questions. Even with that scale in your possession, finding my hall is no easy task. How did you find me? Ah, yes. That cackling old hermit Kikwi told you where I lived, didn't he? Honestly, I can't remember how many times I've told that scruffy thing to keep his mouth shut. That's the last straw. Next time I see him, he's dinner. Oh, but I digress. You've come here seeking a sacred flame, haven't you? Of course. I knew it. But I'll be straight with you. A shrimpy boy like you hardly looks the part of the goddess's chosen hero. There's no doubt about it. A test is in order to prove you're everything you say you are. Shortly before your arrival, I was attacked by a pompous creature calling himself Ghirahim. I stood against this self-proclaimed demon lord, but I was wounded in the encounter. The wounds he has given me are stubborn things. I have been forced to recuperate in this basin of sacred water. Unfortunately, the healing properties of the sacred water have diminished, and I am now in need of another dose to freshen up my healing bath. Bring me the container of fresh, sacred water I require. Do me this favor, and I'll gladly show you where to find the sacred flame you desire. What say you?
You got it.
I am analyzing the water remaining in this basin. Excellent. I can now help you douse for water type you are searching for. Master, you do not have a container suitable for transporting water. Please prepare a vessel for this purpose. I assume you just mean a jar, but mine are full right now. Not that I need a new jar for water, right? If you continue down this way, you will find an exit back to the woods. Excellent. Now run along. One does not keep a dragon waiting. I was gonna say, you better not tell me that I need to fucking... you better not tell me that I have to, like, go all the way back to that entire cave to get back out, then all the way back to that entire cave to get back in again. I would be unsatisfied by that news, to say the very least. Yeah. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a little diversion and a little swimmy bit and so on. But it's good to acknowledge the lack of mechanical depth going on and, you know, keep it paced to only be X amount of long. Hey, evil crystal. I need that for one of my upgrades. So you just get it in a box randomly. I thought you'd get it during, like, the shadow place from an enemy. In fact, having a silly gimmick to make a particular world stand out from the other worlds is a pretty standard element of Zelda and Mario and most games, basically. The issue is that oftentimes 3D Zeldas have a campaign-spanning gimmick that itself only has about as mechanical depth or less that you would normally give to an entire, just a single world, and that's the one that you engage with throughout the entire game. Oop, here we go. I think there was a Barry Kramer video about this game specifically. Where he discusses just the kind of like the flat emptiness that is the flight sections, where it's like, huh, they had an idea and like they put it on the cover as like the exciting feature of the new Zelda game, but like it's barely in this game. It's really easy to forget that this is like the Sky game with sky and flying, because you spend almost the entire game in a normal Zelda world doing none of that. And then when you do that, you're like, there's not really anything to do. And it's mostly just like a time-consuming thing I need to do to get between the things I actually want to do. And I'm like, How do I... minus? Aha, mushroom spores. I don't even need these. Get out of here. No, don't dump it. Or don't unselect it. Scoop? You got water. It's just normal water, but might come in handy sometime. Oh. Whoops. Ah, it's gonna be that way. This is just water. It's nice, but it's water. Let's bottle it up and sell it. Introduce capitalism to the Zelda. Oh, shit. I say as if there aren't shops in this game. Dude, this is like a force. Okay, yeah, this must be where I get the flame once I appease the dragon, because I am not getting past that. Alrighty.